This is for kids actually. I couldn't find adult version. We just recorded podcast with Michael to be
Good. And
published
that'll
on
go out on
Friday.
Friday. Yeah.
He came with head, okay, we are live. Hello
Awesome.
everyone. Merry Christmas everyone. Happy New Year. I think
Yeah.
this is last session this year, right?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
glad we're making it finally because it's not easy to. Yeah, anyway. Hi Kirk, hi Andrey.
Hello.
Hey.
Yeah, so somehow the topic of B3 merge is still alive. W- I I thought it won't survive, but there are chances, and while there are chances, we keep working. But yeah. And last week we had a session which was not public because we just chatted. I think 2 hours or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it was very helpful and useful because now we have something to do, and I yield the scene to Kirk and Andrey. I don't know in which sequence, and going to spread some links meanwhile.
Awesome. Well, I'll start by sharing my screen here, and let me see if I can't. Cool. Set that up over to the side. All right. So I was assigned a task last time to go ahead and look at the AI, take what we learned last week after our 2 hour discussion, and see what we can talk about and organize our thoughts a bit more and try to get us focused. And then I pushed it into an incremental approach based on what I learned each step of the way. So I think Andrey will confirm that I learned a lot in the last week. All right, that's
Definitely. Yeah.
awesome. So let's talk about a proposed incremental approach to getting this done. First, we'll talk about the root of the issue, reducing index bloat. The question really is it worth it? Okay. First, the assumption at face value is yes. Okay. And second, there exists an a reindex concurrently, right? So obviously someone knows you need to reindex sometimes. So the question becomes, can we do it better? This and that, but it's a complicated subject. And Peter Geoghegan or Dagan, yeah,
Gagan.
Peter Gagan, thank you. Peter Gagan gave some feedback to us, and that was important. So the real question is for really huge tables, you don't want to reindex concurrently. So we understand that. So the question becomes, can we measure it? Can we not just the bloat? Can we measure the impact of the bloat? This is what, in my opinion, is going to sell it to the hackers. Okay, and and then I want to simplify it by creating it as an extension first that people call when they need it. Okay, and then move on from there incrementally. And then this way we can maybe jump in and get something working on this. I dropped some code in. Andrey, did you see the gzip file I put in the
Oh,
chat
yes.
on Telegram? If you want to try to grab
Uh,
that and put that into the current version of, it's the patch files for the for the thing. It's actually just a folder of the extension that I
Yeah,
had created.
I didn't review it yet, but I have the code, yeah,
Perfect.
just in case.
Perfect. So the real question is, can we measure the impact, and how should we measure the impact? Moving on, do not do 50-50 merges. That makes perfect sense. I don't even want to do a 45-45 merge. I don't want 90% records when I'm done because those are just going to split again. That kind of just seems like creating work for no reason. Well, where I'm looking at this being useful, even in my own life as a DBA, is we have some old tables that are logging that we delete data from maybe 10 years ago. We actually archive it off first and then we delete it. It's not partitioned. And after we do this kind of huge delete, yes, I really would like to reclaim some of that space. For now, I'm stuck doing reindex. These are big tables, okay? Reindex will take a while. We'll do it on weekends. But this is where this opportunity comes in. How do we merge these? Thought process, we should pay attention to the fill factor on the index size. So if it's an 80% fill factor or 50% fill factor, that should be important. We shouldn't merge above that number. And then on the flip side, and we shouldn't combine enough to make a page that big or bigger than that. And on the flip side, maybe we can let the user tell us what percentage emptiness to go after. My first inclination is anything less than 20%. Why? It just, to me, 80-20 rule. But that should be something people can control. And then last is callable versus designed into the delete process or the vacuum process. These were all things that I've considered. I spent time with Grok and other AIs talking about the structure. For now, I think just making it callable external to the database so it's easy to share and test the construct and prove that it gives us an advantage. Then we can talk about it because, and this is where it gets hard, okay? The incremental process I want to have us follow is first, just build a version that works with an exclusive lock, not worried about concurrency, okay? Everything in the Postgres B-tree world, nbtree.c, all of those files, everything there has been optimized for the way they've interpreted the YAO paper. And the challenge is they made a lot of assumptions. So there are written rules and there are some unwritten rules and core assumptions in there. The two hardest things for us to handle are forward scans and backward scans, with backward scans being actually like almost an order of magnitude harder to handle. Okay, so the forward scans kind of work out almost transparently because we currently on an insert can split and move part of a page, half of a page. So there's current logic that says, hey, we might be in the middle of a split operation, and the only thing a scan has to worry about is if it read the previously unsplit page that's now split, and now it's moving to that next page, which is the split version of that page, which contains some records from the old page it already read and the new records from the insert. Okay, so it's guaranteed to have to redo something inside of here before it continues on. So this is like, okay, so if we have to deal with that, this makes it significantly harder. So my thought process, and this is, I want to get your opinion too, Nick, is we attack the problem here first, we make a couple design decisions, and then we verify the performance improvement, right? Because if this works and we get a performance improvement, then it's worth solving these. These are probably going to take, in all honesty, I would say it's going to take me about, I'd say a month to get the code working and tested that will actually allow this to work concurrently. And there's some things like, for example, it would be great to test running this 2 times in a row on the same table while it's not finished with the previous merge. Like, right, just think about how hard that would be for the merging process to come in while something else is merging in front of it and all those tables. And if you could do that, great. But first, this is why we're just going to do an exclusive lock. No one can run it a second time. They're just going to block and wait. Anyways, and then the easy one, forward scan, the harder one, backward scan. And the game plan, like I said, with this is with either little to no changes to the current handling of the scanning process. Now, I was hoping we could get the forward scan with almost no changes, but Andrey, of course, okay, being the PhD in indexes that he is, pointed out, yeah, we're probably going to have a problem depending on how we merge the pages. And there's a couple constructs, merging 2 pages into the rightmost page, leaving the left page empty, or merging the 2 pages into a new page and then emptying those 2 pages. But for me, this one actually makes this process even harder. You move too much, and then it makes the backward scan way harder because it's not anticipating, but it does have logic that if it reads, it's reading through a linked list backwards. So it's going from here to here. It has logic that says, hey, if this one no longer points to where I came from, follow its path until you get to one of these records that point back to me. So it already has that logic and in a while loop. So that's pretty good. But the challenge is getting both these work at the same time. So this is going to be the much harder version 2, in my opinion. What I think we can start with, and maybe as early as today, is we can start with getting a version with the exclusive locks that actually merge the individual index pages and then just zero out the number of records that are in that first page that we made go away. And if we can get that going and then test and verify that that worked, then we're at a spot where, okay, we might have to do it multiple times, right, as we go through the file. Or in this case, since we're locking, we might just go ahead and say we'll do more than 2 for this process, but we know that's going to create a much harder version 2, or we'll turn that off for version 2. Those are the things I wanted to talk about now that were with the group. So that's my kind of summary from my homework to go and study this. I completely understand why my detour process didn't work. Andrey understood it intuitively, but the biggest reason is this backwards process. If you're going to scan backwards through the table and get to here, and if this doesn't point here back to you, then you have to follow that lead until it gets back to you. Oh, no, that could create a loop where it doesn't stop till the end of the record and never finds itself because I separated the two. Yeah, so my apologies, Andrey, for last week. It wasn't getting through my thick skull of why the detour, why having 2 linked lists that were kind of one active at one time, one active, the old version, then the detour, and the old version just dissolves. Yeah, no, that can create these weird loops that you'll never get out of. So, anyways, that's me. Feedback.
Yeah.
Marks for homework. I don't know. A, B. Oh,
I get an A or a B for homework. Thank you. I'll take a B. Nick, what do I get for homework?
I have questions before, yeah. Verify the performance improvement. How, like, verify how performance improvement? We know if it's less pages used, bloat reduced, it's already good in many senses, right? So what to verify then?
That reduces IO, right? So now the question becomes is exactly that. So we can use improvements in explain plan accuracy as showing, hey, look, explain plan's no longer crazy thinking that it's, okay. What else?
Let me
Help me.
tell you, bloat is tricky because we discussed this. Like we have bloat at like 99%, but explain plan can work well because you just don't touch those bloated pages at all. So it's very locality specific problem. And this is a separate topic from algorithm, right? Let's assume we already decided we need to fight the bloat and reduce indexes, rebuild them, and so on. And if algorithm requires log, okay, it's still worth implementing, I think, as prototyping, right? And topic of checking performance, it's a very separate topic. We can check it separately from this work completely. Like this is question, do we need to rebuild indexes? Or we see in practice like bloat grows, and then it stabilizes depending on workload. For example, if it's a lot of updates, it can stabilize like 70, 90% of bloat, and then it stops growing because we have enough pages to play only with them all the time, and the lockup settings catch up there. If you make it aggressive, it can have plateau earlier. But this is completely separate topic from algorithm. I would assume we decided that we need to fight bloat, and like what do I go like? The second question is not about algorithm, as I feel it, or I'm mistaken. Or maybe I'm mistaken, and you want to verify something inside the algorithm itself.
So
I would say that we don't need benchmarks.
Yeah.
We would like to see someone actually using this. Someone actually trying to solve some
This
problem.
is different verify, yeah. Battle tested verify.
And good catch. This is probably should be what's going to be our sales pitch to the hackers to get it pushed into Postgres. Like even if they just push it in as an extension you can install so that you can clean up. I don't know how valuable it is that this runs continuously. I'll be honest, right? Because I understand for me, I have very specific use cases for this. Having it run continuously, that's Geegan's issue with this, was that in the testing, it takes a lot of extra work
Yeah.
And then
So
the return is
basically, it's partial rebuild, right? We take exclusive lock, but not to rebuild whole index as usual with reindex index without concurrently word. We take it briefly to fix a specific area to have less pages there, fewer pages there, right?
Yep.
This is so, right? So we could do it periodically with some like taking lock not so long, right? Not for not so long.
Yeah, that's for the production version. Once we validate that we can actually fix the indexes without breaking the wall, like in my first couple attempts with some of the coding with Cursor and Grok in this doing this, yeah, they make some horrible assumptions about what they can write and should write, and we crash Postgres in such a way it has to reinit the DB to start back up. Okay, so this is like the worst
Corruption.
kind of crash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is one difference compared to regular index, right?
Right.
Lock is very short-lived. And different, one more, we discussed it during secret session. Another difference is that we don't read the table at all, right?
Yeah, no table scan, which
Yeah.
is potentially a big time saver.
In some cases, maybe. Yeah.
So that we're not focused on the table scan. And let's talk and just make sure we're clear, because we said a lot of things last week that haven't been said yet. Part of what we're thinking is that we can take pages that are mostly empty, combine them together, and leave perfectly empty pages behind. That's what our algorithm's going to do. And those perfectly empty pages, and I confirmed, every leaf page is pointed to by an internal page. There can be 1,000 or more from a single internal page. It can point to over 1,000 leaf pages, depending. So, and that number may even be bigger. So the thing is, but every leaf page in a valid B tree index that isn't, the leaf page is not marked half dead. As long as that's the case, then that linked list on the bottom is all referenced from above. The half dead pages are part of the two-step cleanup process. First, they unlink it from the above and they rebalance the tree above it, and then they leave it there for the next process. And that's because even removing an empty page is that hard, okay, without screwing up locks and messing up people that need to scan through the table. It's better to make them scan past a page they read, and they read the top and the type of page says half dead, and they know there's nothing on it, and it just goes in whatever direction it was already going. So it was far easier, even for the guys creating this, to try not to deal with restructuring the tree and cleaning up the linked list at the bottom. So they restructured the tree and left this empty, which that was a good understanding.
Adjacent question. Not so. Are we going to have some option parameter to say I want to take care of this area of index, or it will be finding the first one, which needs to be.
In the very first versions, I say we only find the first two pages that can be merged. We merge them and we let them, and we double check what they have on them. And if you look at my code that I have, I had Cursor write dumping code that dumps the nodes and roughly what's in the nodes, so that we could kind of keep an eye on it as it's finding what it needs to fix. There's a lot of elong. Sorry.
Yeah, because if we have such mean, we could fix. Sometimes there is like local bloat for specific areas. If you imagine for some row which was updated many times and a lot of dead tuples accumulated, in specific leaf pages it will be a lot of bloat. And yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Imagine being able to pass in like a range or a key value that it can.
Queue-like workload suffers from it always. We have some jobs table and we have some jobs there, and then update status many times, retries many times, and we have a lot of tuples, a lot of row versions for specific ID. And they usually end up in index. They usually in the same leaf or adjacent leaves, so multiple leaves. And then if AutoVacuum cannot delete them promptly, select slows down like a lot for this specific ID, because a lot of versions and the index doesn't have version information. So index can fetches a lot of pointers, right, to different tuples.
Yeah, let me put a red flag. Let me throw a
Yeah,
red
and then
flag on that.
AutoVacuum comes, deletes this, and we have almost empty pages.
That's when you would run our code.
Right,
It
but
has to be
if
run
you
after
run
vacuum.
your code and it takes care of different part of index, different pages, I need to rerun it with
No,
more
the game
control.
plan, right. The game plan in our code ultimately is it keeps doing it with, the version 2. Version 1 will just lock the index, fix it, right? In the beginning, it'll just fix the first one it
Yeah.
runs into to validate, fix the whole thing. The final
Okay.
version will fix the entire index, but I like the idea of giving it like a starting
Control.
key value.
Yeah.
Yeah, some kind of starting.
This reminds us
start from this
a
point in the
different
file.
session about materialized views, right? It slightly reminds.
Yeah.
Let's not go there. Maybe let's do something first.
Yeah, and like previously we were talking about having two phases. One phase to find what to split, grab a lock, and then what to merge, grab a lock, and then merge. And for the first stage, we can give block numbers, like scan for bloat in first gigabyte, build the plan for fixing it, and fix it. And that's how we have interface in AM check for verifying heap. It is accepting parameters like scan n gigabytes first and then exit. So it's kind of doable, but I would propose to
Not
do
for now.
something like something usable, maybe, or at least something working, or at least something that pretends to be working. Let's do something.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I think we can turn the coding time over to Andrey, if you can, and then
Yeah.
you've got my plugin. That's for it should be on the current version. That was half the battle is getting to the current version. Do this. It should compile and install that extension. And there's actually a test in there, and you can look at the SQL. There should be a select where you can just select asterisk from the function, and it'll tell you what the bloat, how many active records, what percentage free are from record 1 to record 2. So it kind of doubles up the rows in the output. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so that we can see yours. And then, yeah. So if we can kind of start from there. Now, again, I would not run the full execute because it will scrog something. But it was having problems, and we can talk about it. We can jump in and start looking at the code. And I'll be completely honest. I was vibing to the max and not reviewing the code it was writing. But it quickly grew from, I want to say 400 lines of code to like 1,400 lines of code, right? When it added a bunch of the debug stuff. So.
Okay, so here is the
Contrib, good. And then
contrib
PG, there you go.
index recline. I see here the C file. Do you see my screen?
Yep.
Um,
and it's a beautiful thing.
a bit bigger, so it's visible in streaming. So we have where is the entering function? Oh, it has a very function to reclaim space from between index.
So there's
It
reclaim space and reclaim space execute. The execute is the one that actually tries to reclaim the space. So this one, I think, just returns a table of the data. So that's the one you can select from is reclaim space. That'll tell you what type of space you can reclaim.
Okay. So let's try to run it.
All right. Do you want to do the to load the file? And there's a test file in there too, inside that folder.
I think I can make it just create table. It's select random series. let's create a random million numbers. Create index on XC. And delete from X where C is greater than.
It
So-
will run vacuum. No, you disable vacuum?
It's okay.
Because
It's okay if vacuum runs.
It
will
can
truncate
run.
it.
No,
No.
Why no?
you can run the
Uh-huh.
vacuum manually. Well, this is
Oh.
going to leave a bunch of small pages.
It will truncate heap only, but for indexes.
So now I have a bloated index, which contains almost empty pages.
Good.
Like
So
3% filled in pages.
Well,
Let's
vacuum
run the function.
empty pages in B3 are reclaimed, right?
Almost empty pages.
But
Yeah,
but-
almost. These are
okay.
mostly empty.
3% full.
Utilization.
Like
Right.
97% bloated.
Right. So
I
select
would
from
do
that.
it with percent to like divide. Okay, to use remainder or something. But okay, if you feel it's
Let's
right, okay,
use
good.
our new function, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Select everything from a new function.
You
Our
need to know the
index.
name of the index. How did you do that? How did you end the one command and start another? So
Look at
clean?
this. Look at this. Look, one second. Let me show. No, don't do anything. Look at
Okay.
this, because we will lose time right now.
Yeah.
Index this number of pages total. This number of pages deleted. Is this what we want?
Maybe not. Maybe it deleted too many pages. But run the
Not bloated
the
pages, but
select.
just deleted pages. Because when page is fully empty in B3, it's reclaimed. This is the beauty of B3. It doesn't matter where.
Okay.
So what we
Okay.
need is divide using percent. Take remainder of division.
Drop table X. Create table.
I was right.
Yes, he was right. But because just 3% is just not enough.
Just divide by some big number and delete all that. Like remainder of division is slightly less.
Like
It will be random. No. Use percent to divide by some number.
Yes, I got it.
In all pages, we will delete some number.
It is sorted. I got
sorted.
it now. Drop
Yes.
table X.
No. Why drop?
No, you don't have to drop
Let's
it.
create two columns. Random.
Okay. No, I had solution very simple. You just okay. If
That's fine. But here, all you have to do is do delete. Afterwards, all you have to do is delete on the table where.
I can show you
random,
how to delete.
Random is greater than, a random is less than.
No, this is what I wanted to show you. For example, if we want to delete 75%, let's divide by 4 using percent, the remainder of division, right? And delete when remainder is 0, 1, and 2, but not 3.
I got your idea, but we have already floating points there.
Okay, sounds good.
So let's do what we already started.
Sounds good.
Let's see vacuum verbose. 1 deleted, 0 reusable. So now it's truly bloated.
Good, yeah.
All right. So now select from that function.
Select everything from reclaim space.
Reclaim M, not N. Fix.
Oops.
Close parenthesis. Semicolon. It's reclaim with Mary, not Nancy. Yeah.
Reclaim space. And like
Oh, I thought it was defaulted, by the way.
Oh, oh.
Don't put a second value in yet. Just parenthesis. There
What
you
is
go.
what is this numbers? What is it?
Okay, so
Yeah.
this is left page. It's telling you the block, okay, and then the right page block. So these are two pages next to each other, 1 and 2, and then the left page is usage is 88%, and the right page usage is 2%. Okay, right? I think that's or it's half of it's less than 1%. Yeah, so these pages are like incredibly empty, right?
Mm.
So the total items to move, there's like 10 to 20 items on each page that can be combined to the next page. That's effectively what this is telling you. And then it's
Mhm.
telling you how much space we can save.
Good.
And also telling you if we can merge it based on the percentage we're looking for, which I think was defaulted to 18 or 20. Now, let me say something. When I first ran this, I deleted like 80% of the data. And in version 17, PG 17, it found a lot of stuff that was under my threshold. When I ran the same code in 19, nothing came up. I actually had to delete an extra percentage of data. They might have changed something in how compact things are in the indexes in 19, but
If
we're in
if it
19 now.
was about 15, I think is that you could run deduplication. But in
Oh,
19,
it was many years ago, right?
Yeah, but this was
like
17 versus 19. Yeah.
5 years is not many years. 5 years is almost yesterday or so.
Yeah, you have to
Uh,
think that when you're a hacker trying to get something published for Postgres.
yeah. 5 years is just a starting of a discussion. Okay,
Nick, you're
so
not laughing at that. You're acting like
we
you own that one. That 5 years kind of gets under your skin.
Yeah.
All right.
let's uh, let's call another function execute.
Okay, this is going to crash. There you go.
Yeah, it crashed because what?
All right. Well, here's the great
Because
part. You got lots of logging. The minute it tries to reclaim, um, so it's going through doing steps. So it's telling you skipping parent page update, you know, boom, boom, boom. So it's walking you through with all of these things, the logging of what it's doing. So the last thing it tried was deleting 3 items from left page 1. So here's the challenge. It doesn't really understand. We need to look at the deleting logic. It doesn't really understand how to read the good records from the bad. I haven't looked at the source code. I wanted to look at it with you. It doesn't quite understand how to read in only some. This is one of those things where this should be a straightforward fix if we, code it or guide code it. We need some
yeah,
structure to say, hey, read the 3 good records into here, read the next blocks good records into here, and then rewrite that second block, empty the first block, and move on. It keeps blowing up. It blew up because it created a critical section, then tried to p-alloc memory in a critical section. You can't do that, right? So it blew up for 10,000 good reasons.
why
uh,
why why is it doing what's the purpose of this critical section? Is it doing while logging or what?
Oh no, it has to create a critical section when it creates the lock, right? Because this version isn't the version we talked about with one general exclusive lock. That's why I wanted to move away from that, right? Because then we end up, creating a critical section for every time it creates the lock and tries to rewrite these blocks, and that's how it created them. Again, Cursor wrote this.
I see here in the start of a critical section. We only ever need critical section when we are prepared to do wall logging,
Okay.
and we have to do all the preparation beforehand, uh,
Oh,
especially memory allocations.
we can comment these out and just find the wall logging piece.
I don't see wall logging under this critical section.
Oh no, it's probably
Or-
in another. It's probably in another area if you want to search for the wall.
And another problem is that we cannot do wall logging of in an extension. Like we can do wall logging for data structures that are defined by this extension. We can define resource manager, which is a set of redo routines for redoing wall logging. And the only option that we have is logging a whole page with full page write.
Okay.
So I think we just have to tell the metal brain that so it ended, but it didn't end critical section. Small. I don't see where is. Maybe I don't need it. I can just say it to AI.
Have it analyze
can
the
ask.
code. And let's ask.
Yeah, we can ask not to do something, but think and analyze, and maybe before doing something, right?
Yeah.
To understand
It's
first.
we have the source code all copied and backed up.
Uh-huh. And critical section. I just want to understand the logic. The
I know
logic
if
there
you
are
ask cursor why do we have critical section there, it will remove it. just just after
I
why. This is how it
I
feels. Yeah,
I
always
actually
acting.
want to understand it. Relation needs wall.
So cursor can actually tell you, there's no critical sections.
So we have
I,
a local variable needs wall, and it's used only for login.
oh, yeah, by the way, I told it to turn off the wall stuff when it started crashing because that was one of the things it suggested it was doing wrong. Okay, so when it was doing the thing. So thank you. You caught up to that. So
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 let's
yeah,
ask cursor to fix it. Am I in correct folder?
you have to go to contrib, right?
Yep. Yep.
PG, there it is.
Index reclaim. Here's a new extension. Tree index reclaim.
Oops.
Tree index reclaim. I want to make it work. Currently, the problem is that wall login is not correct. We need to log new
Oh,
page
I thought we were
user.
going to fix how it writes the indexes and fixes the pages first because it's not even logging. Well, do we have to make it write log to do
We
some
want
wall
to
logging?
remove critical section.
Okay.
If we are removing critical section, I have to understand what's going on under critical section.
Okay.
Technically, as far as I understand, we don't do wall logging. Under critical section, we must do only wall logging, so we probably can just remove all the code from critical section start to critical section end. But I'm not sure. There might be some useful code that doing something.
Finish your prompt, but before you hit send, let me read it.
Okay. Currently extension has some debugging stuff that might be needed. Currently there's a critical section with condition in that section. We don't but we don't so probably what might be removed. What else? It might be doing some use surrounding files in PG index reclaim to understand logic of this extension. I think that's the prompt I would use.
Okay. I read it with you, so I'm good with that. You know, the scary part is when it says, oh, this is Kirk's code. I was just working on this yesterday.
I think it should like hide details of one user from another user.
I would hope, especially because I've turned that feature on that says keep my stuff separate.
I was discussing a lot of FPI related code and wall related code with Cursor. I'm not sure, will it use this knowledge currently, or it will try to learn it again?
I think
Oh,
it doesn't have memory feature like ChatGPT or Claude do.
So it's just
you need to
fresh
explain once
new
again.
AI.
Yeah. You need to have context, save it to some markdown file or something like this. Yeah.
I see that it currently is learning how log new page works.
yeah.
And I could tell it a lot. But it can read it in source code again.
And it has vectors. All the code is scanned already, and vectors are stored in turbo buffer, as we know, by Cursor. And yeah, in S3. Yeah, so and there is index for ANN, right? So semantic search.
Yeah.
But
Probably we could do it better. But we didn't find the time to work on it.
Yes. But I in Cursor particularly, I often work with multiple repositories which are outside of current view, right? So I need sometimes to do multiple things in multiple repositories, and it works fine. It lacks vectors, but it will scan and do some grep, understand what's happening, and that's it.
Yeah, I watched it grep a lot of the code as it was going through prepping this.
Yeah.
But the good news is it's just one file.
Yeah. But in terms of context, it's a huge file, right? How many?
1,400, yeah, 1,300 lines.
Yeah, so it's quite
1,400.
not huge, but significant. If it's probably beyond like 8 kilobytes, right? So definitely beyond. Yeah. So
I see that it is doing access share lock.
Yeah, I didn't tell it to do an access exclusive lock upon starting because this was originally the first version. I had these grand beliefs it could actually merge the pages for me. Now I have zero trust that it understands how to merge two index pages together. Even though it says, hey, I see how it's doing it in BT merge. Let me go grab that code and do it that way. And yeah, nothing but crashing after that. The first part where it analyzed how the percentage full and that query you got, that was tops. That was the easy part. Read only access and tell me what's going on with the different leaf pages. But just like you had to, I had to remind it that it had to take the left path all the way down to find the first index page. Like it started by not doing it that way, and it just scanned the index until the file, one block at a time, until it found an index page. Like, no,
We can
Ali.
ask it to read the source code of AM check for B3, and there is a descent to the beginning. When you are doing analyze stage, do you use physical read or descent from a root?
Oh, it does a descent from root.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had it
It's
modify it to do that.
It's
So
slightly slower for hard drives. I'm not sure databases on hard drives are
I
super popular
use
these days.
I use an SSD. Okay, anybody who's not using an SSD for their database should get used to it being slow.
I heard there is a torrent with Spotify, and it is like 300 terabytes. So I checked how much it would cost me to buy 300 terabytes to have at home disks for that. And that's like 20,000 dollars. And
it's not more. Like my first math answer was almost 90,000. Right? You buy a 1 terabyte, not disk,
Yeah.
but you're talking SSD, NVMe.
no,
Oh,
I can consider hard drives. Like
oh,
I don't need that like 300 terabytes of SSDs at home just for listening to music. Like iPod.
Now
Always.
imagine it's SSD in cloud and you pay every hour or every minute to
so that
rent it.
Yeah. Even for S3, it's this huge amount of money.
Yeah.
so I have a multi-terabyte table that I built with Postgres. I was telling Andrey about, and the index on it I put on a one. It's just the ID index, and I put that on a 1 terabyte SSD.
So you use table spaces?
So yeah, and so
Okay.
once the index went on the SSD, but just getting that to build properly, because it wants to use the table, then it has to have a separate temp space, right? So but once it worked, let me tell you, that index is fast. and
Of course.
then you're reading a limited number of rows from disk, so
Mhm.
it feels different. It like, wow, it
Of
almost feels
course.
like it's an SSD.
Random. Yeah. And now imagine you decide to add one more replica, and since it's replicating everything, yeah, more disk to be paid or disk space.
How
Okay.
much does it cost to have 1 terabyte in S3 in AWS?
10 cents per gigabyte per month, right?
Yeah, so
So
$10,
$100 per
100
month.
100
It's not a
bucks.
lot, but it depends because how many IOPS and so on. Like there are many flavors of, especially in AWS. There is
Very, very
GP3,
cold.
IO2, provisioned IOPS. It's better,
Very,
it's better to consider some instance which has NVMe SSD locally.
Yeah,
You just
that's
you just
I'm
don't
still
reboot
thinking
it
about
because you.
downloading all the music ever recorded.
Then you need S3, and S3 will be 1 cent per gigabyte per month. So
yeah. You
That's a
could
terabyte
good
use
should
way.
cost $10.
Parquet files on S3.
You can use also lower, like there are different also flavors of S3. There is how it's called, Cold Line. Cold Line is Google Cloud, right? It's
Yeah,
called
no,
no, not
something like
Iceberg, but
ice. Yeah, it has
Glacier,
ice.
Glacier,
Glacier.
Glacier,
Because that's how
Glacier.
slow it is. That's how slow it
Yeah,
is
it's
to get the.
slow, but if you just throw some old photos to fetch them later, you can just archive, right? But it's super cheap.
No. Be careful. It's super
Oh,
cheap to store. I
right.
actually have
Traffic.
a friend who accidentally loaded some software and it tried to scan one of his S3 folders that was in Glacier, and it cost him like
Fetching costs. Yeah,
$1,000 to fetch what was in Glacier, and he was
it's a
oh
trap.
Yeah. That in fact, our rule of thumb is we don't recommend Glacier anymore. And if we do, we limit the
Well,
roles that are allowed to read it.
we recommend it for like if you, for example,
Disaster.
for backups to move it automatically because we are not going to fetch it unless the disaster happens.
Right.
The only problem is VolG has this bug of mod time sorting, right? Which probably is fixed now, right? Maybe after
Is
years of.
merge?
I don't know. I haven't checked. I don't check my own PRs, you know. I don't have time for it. Yeah, I need to check.
I don't check it too.
Okay, nobody checked. Let me do it right now. Yeah. Actually, I thought maybe we should propagate, expand some hacking sessions to adjacent software like VolG or something. Do some Go code
Yeah.
one day, you know,
Hey,
because
We're
look at
already
the results.
doing extensions, actually.
Look at we're getting results. This is the part I like about Cursor. I always take the time out to help it build test cycles and learn how to test it for me so that
It
it'll
just
run it through. Go
just
ahead.
needed to delete some code. Why so many text to do's
Why?
and all that
Oh,
stuff?
because it actually tested it. It actually ran it. Run
No,
it now. I think
no,
it did. Oh,
I don't trust it.
did you accept
I
everything?
no, I do not accept anything. Let's start from giving it that I have some warnings, compiler warnings.
Oh, do you? Did you when you just compiled it now, you get some warnings?
Yes, yes,
Yeah. All right.
and probably it will check it on its own next time. Thinking again.
so I have an interesting finding.
Hmm?
Well, I need to double check. I found something very related. Let me check it. No. What? Okay. I asked Cloud Code to check if there are some improvements in B3 in 19 devel. So since Postgres 18, it found page merging during vacuum. Author is Andrey. Work in progress.
Yeah,
Thank you. I guess
I
it's because I checked in fork. Okay. Because after you, Kirk, mentioned that 19 behave differently, I'm thinking what could be
but differently from 17, to be clear. So
17. Oh,
yeah, but
18 I
17.
checked as well. I mean, not stupid AI decided to check 18, though I asked 19, but in 18 nothing in that area. Page merge during vacuum in development. Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
it is in development. It's just authors are incorrect. There are three of us at least.
Yeah, it's funny how Andrey's name, maybe it starts with an A, and it always ends up first.
Because
What?
I send that email. By the way, I had an intern who was working on Drop LSN,
Hmm.
and he produced a version that is actually very good.
Hmm.
His internship ended already, and I still didn't review his code. I need to find time to do it. I checked it, like skimmed it, and
It looked
it
good.
somehow yes, it that's the problem. When something like when something is open coded by a hacker, you can judge by a style what's the level of technical depth is. And because humans goes from the skeleton, from the idea into details. And when details are there, you know it's complete. With AI, it goes from details,
Right.
maybe without skeleton.
Right.
And
That's
you
why
see
doing
that
something different sometimes. You did everything very correctly, but not what I asked for. So,
yeah, and when I read the code and it's good, I'm I don't trust. I just need to check everything
Yeah,
that Skeleton
yeah.
works. That bones
I
are,
have
are
an opposite
there.
effect recently. I read the code and I see it's bad, and I already suspect, oh, this is not this is like manually coded. What's wrong with you? You know, why did you decide to manually code it? You know,
Okay, so no, at least there are.
it's like opposite problem because you see some like like typos or something like not a lack of alignment, unification, and you understand, oh, this code is manual. But it's also not good because lack of unification and some typos. So I don't know what's better and what's worse here.
So I do create. I do
Index.
index, yes. And
Delete.
yes, that's delete. And vacuum
Vacuum.
verbose. It is bloated and not deleted. And
Oh, you didn't install create the
yeah,
extension.
I did, but I need to create a SQL part.
I found something by Peter Gagan, improvements in 19, 2 weeks ago. I'm going to send in our Telegram group.
All right. By the way,
Well, it
see if this works on your keyboard. I want you to type VAC and page up. Hit the page up key after you type VAC, like in vacuum. And then hit the page up key.
No, tab. Right,
Ah.
tab.
Oh, no, I don't
Completion.
want tab. I don't want auto completion. On my keyboard, if I do the page up key, it does a incremental search upwards for that previous command, which starts with that.
mm,
It's
Ah,
cool.
okay.
it's
Like Control R, right? Or
yes, it's
Yeah.
compiled without libreadline. So my version of PSQL that is built on this Mac doesn't have reverse search, which
Read
is
line.
not provided by Postgres console tools, but rather libraries that is not compiled here.
So look at this briefly at commit I found by Peter Gagan, reviewed by Viktor Yegorov, by the way.
You want to share it?
It's,
Or oh no, you popped it in the
yeah, I
other.
sent a link. Maybe this is what you note, some improvement in B3, right? Ah, it's just for search, I guess, right? Or so not related, right? Yeah, it's not related. I think it's only for read only. Something small. Yeah, no, never mind.
Yeah, okay. Yep, it was mostly about large range scans. Perfect. All right, back to what's on the channel. So, all right, you did the execute. Oh, but hold on. Do the select asterisk we did from the non-execute and do a limit of 5 or 10. Reclaim space, just that one. Put a limit on there of some number. Limit, just put a no, not that. Oh, you're going to try to limit what you find? I just meant you to bring back the top 10 rows. We should have done that before. Because it's going to bring too many rows back, right? So I was just going to ask you to put a limit 10 on or something so we can see some rows, whatever. All right, so notice the difference here on the block numbers here. The left page block, they start at 5 or 6 now. They used to start at page 1, okay? They now start at 5 or 6. So go ahead and run it again, because this should now merge 5 and 6 together. Okay, is what I'm thinking, because it finds the first 2 pages it can merge as the current logic, and then it merges them. So if that logic worked, then we can quit out of here and then run the execute one again. And there might be a bug because of that negative number on the space to be reclaimed. So we do have to be incredibly careful. But yeah, you want the one with execute. There you go. Let's try running it again.
It's great. It crashes.
Panic. Okay. Yeah. So there were problems inside here.
But I think let's create a test and
How about we're not we're disconnected from the server. How about we restart a panicked server and recreate the table and do the core
we
test?
can just create test here. Let's ask it. Please create a regression test with SQL, like create table.
It already had a script. There was a SQL script inside that folder. That's what I was trying to tell you.
I just want it to make a regular regression test that creates the database from the scratch and doing all that stuff.
Well, you wanted the vacuum Burroughs, right? Didn't you want the vacuum verbose? You didn't copy.
I don't think we need it, but probably
Because
yes,
there's going to be no lag in
we need
between.
it.
Yeah, there's no chance for the vacuum to run in between us.
Let's use.
Cool. It gave you a file. You can modify it or have it modify it. Contrib PJ index SQL. There's a space after the word SQL, which bothers me, but whereas users, oh, it's a separate thing.
I don't see SQL here. Where is it?
Mine, there's a test bloat SQL. That was my original one.
No, it must create SQL. Like SQL for tests and SQL folder here must appear.
Oh, look, it's running it all. So it's running pg index reclaim.sql. Go up to the top and do a search for reclaim.sql. Oh, there it is, right there. Page index. There you go. Keep it. Tell it to keep that file.
It doing
It
what?
added it. It overheard us talking.
Mm-hmm.
I wish there was an auto keep on these changes when you're in vibe mode. I get why you don't want it per se, but I find myself constantly clicking keep to get it out of my screen.
Yeah, it might be doing much more code that I can reliably review. So that's why I'm not trying to review it. I have no idea why it is trying to build expected output on its own. That's not how we do tests. We just run tests, they fail. We see the output that it actually produces, then we hard code the output.
Maybe that's what it's trying.
It just has great hallucination capabilities and eager to use them all the time. That's it.
I tell you, there is a certain amount of dopamine you get from watching it create code. Right? When you're, after you explain it and then you watch it go out there and create code and then try to use its code. But unlike a human, we naturally recognize sometimes when we're in an infinite loop. I'm trying to think something that's impossible.
By the way, you mentioned 15,000 of lines, right? I had it a few times when I start saving context in some markdown file and then it start producing a lot of markdown files. And then you understand your change is so huge, like your pull request is so huge because like 99% of it, it's just some markdown. Easy to drop, you know. By the way, I double checked my pull request to WolG. It's untouched yet. So I pinged you there,
Uh-oh.
Andrey.
Okay, thank you. I will try to review it.
It's small, quite small.
Um, it's small, but it's in a crucial path that is
Yes.
deciding which
Yes.
backups should be deleted. And I'm
Yes.
really afraid to delete someone's backups. Uh,
But now you're deleting wrong backups.
But
well, I'm doing it
he's afraid of deleting even
consistently.
more
In,
wrong.
in fact, in fact, what I'm trying to fix there is how latest it works. It's broken now and brings old backups. So anyway,
Uh,
So guys, while we're here, let's talk about the next chance we're going to get to meet, because it doesn't sound like it's next
in
week.
next year,
Well, next week is still in this year, right? Next week would be the 30th, the day before New Year's Eve. So that's 7. And I think I'm okay with taking that off. Okay, if that's what you guys want. But when we come back, are you guys ready for that on like what is
yeah,
that going to be? The 6th or whatever? Let me look at the calendar. January 7th. Hacking. You're on my calendar, so I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, those were the errors I kept getting when it was running. But when you got past it, it actually ran more than once. But the fact that the reclaimed space was a negative number told me something was wrong. And that's where what I wanted just to get us down to was what type of output was it giving us for those two nodes that it merged together. And that was the next thing I kind of wanted to look at. We should have had an empty page, and it should not have been marked half deleted, because a half deleted page cannot have a parent pointing to it by definition, because the next auto vacuum that runs will think it can just remove it, and then that can create corruption too. Um,
Ooh. uh, it just uh, I think I I can try to make it work in an offline, because now it's kind of a bit late for me.
no worries.
Maybe let's plan when we do continue and wrap up for today.
That's
yeah.
good. We've been at this for a little while, so I'm good with that. Excellent. I mean, excellent work in getting it. We're close. I like the fact that we're going after this in a way that's, the smallest piece possible now, just merging a couple pages and then looking at the results of those pages. Will you rar this back up and shoot it back over to me on the
Would you
or
mind if I just commit it somewhere so you could
yeah,
just check it out?
yeah,
GitHub. Yeah.
yeah, just send it up somewhere.
Yes.
Did you guys see that?
Uh,
You guys know the Primeagen guy, he talks about the coding stuff. He was talking about one, I guess it was in GitHub Actions, where they were supposed to sleep for a second, and they literally have a equals a while command while it was basically not equal to the one value they were expecting it to be. And if it slept a fraction longer than that, it stays in an infinite loop on the action. And it's just
Mhm.
like, but I remember that code structure because when I was at university, I was coding with the guy who was number one. He's Dr. Lorch at Microsoft.com now. Anyways, and I saw he wrote a piece of code that looked like this. And I said, never write a code that only has a one chance in however many billions to be correct. Always just use a less than equal to or greater than equal to. And then you're guaranteed if it ever comes in under bad assumptions, it'll work, kind of thing. And then to watch that come to here 35 years after that conversation, I was like, oh my God, the same thing. Now, here's the funny part. He went to work for one of the original travel companies, and I forgot which one it was, and their servers would randomly crash sometime around noon. And while he was in fixing some code, he saw that code construct of equals until something was equal, and he fixed it immediately and said, why, basically, while it was less than or equal to this size, keep adding something to it. After that, the thing, oh, it was Sabre, S-A-B-R-E. Anyways, the thing stopped crashing. And so he worked there for a couple months on an internship. It stopped crashing, and they gave him a nice bonus and a trip somewhere because they're a travel agency. They were just so grateful he fixed this bug nobody knew, but it stopped happening after he fixed one of those. Like it was.
I don't know. My favorite while is while true, and we are in infinite loop, and then break out of it.
I'll be honest. I use while true with breaks a lot, especially
all the
if I have
time. Yeah.
complex logic. Well, the basic I grew up with on the PDP-11 had a beautiful construct. You could say go sub or go to, and then it had an outside if. So you could have this clean logic, and you could say go sub some routine if x is greater than 10. And it would go do that, come back, and continue through the logic. And I called it an outside if. It was so much more convenient than an if then else, construct all over the place.
Well, if shifted to the right, it reminds me Ruby, right?
Oh, Ruby. Yeah, I've never coded in Ruby. So
yeah,
I like
it's quite, you need to get used to it when you see if not as the first word in line. So
any language that has
strange.
any language that has Rails associated with it just lets me know that either I'm not stable or it's not stable. If I need Rails.
What I like about Ruby is how they do schema changes. I mean, in Rails, it's Rails rake tool, rake db migrate, which always reminds that so many rakes to be stepped on when you do schema changes. Yeah, so rake db migrate all the time.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Oh, gentlemen, Merry Christmas.
Yeah, you too. Likewise.
And Happy New Year, since we won't see each other. Everyone listening.
All holidays you celebrate. It's
Yeah.
Continuous process.
Yeah. Well, honestly, if we didn't have holidays to celebrate, some of us would just be worked to death. So, you kind of, sometimes you need a break, and you have to remember that, oh, I have a family. They might want to know my name. Maybe if I buy them gifts, they'll remember it. You celebrate Christmas out there, right, Andrey?
Yes, we do. A bit
So,
later, but mostly we celebrate New Year.
yeah, my Russian programmers, they're not coming back till after the 11th. Like oh, like,
So
oh my God.
I have a Christmas tree here too.
Nice. We don't put up the tree anymore. The daughter moved away. We're too old for that. So we have the TV on a fireplace with a Christmas scene from YouTube. Awesome. All right, Andrey, thank you. I look like you packaged this up and put it somewhere. You'll send me the link in.
Yeah. I committed it and it's available on GitHub. I will send the link.
Send it to Telegram. Yeah, we have a Telegram group. It's mentioned in the description on under this video. So please join. If you watched until this point, definitely you should join. Yeah, and everyone, happy holidays. See you next year.
Yeah.
See you. Thank you. Bye.